Hello and welcome to the very second ever Stat Rep. This is Pariah Nexus. It's finally here. We know y'all have been waiting for a long time for this, but it is finally time. We have got a banger of a game for you coming up right here. We've got myself, Tyler Bortel, and my co-host.
Lucas.
That's Lucas over there. Awesome. We are bringing in the Pariah Nexus with the balance patch and the everything. We waited until we got all the points and all the rules and all the missions and all the everything, so that we could bring you the most hot, spicy, relevant content instead of maybe something that was a little bit more half-baked. So we're excited to make it happen now. I am repping Vanguard Nids, which is awesome. Been wanting to try that attachment for a while, ever since the Codex dropped, frankly. But the data sheets were never there. We got some great changes in the slate. We'll talk about it in a sec. But I'm rocking those. Lucas, what are you playing today?
I'm playing Greenside.
Wow!
You always do that, man. It always makes me want to just, you know. But yeah, some cool changes in the slate, and so I'm curious to get it on the table.
Sweet, so let's jump right into it. As far as missions concerned, we're going to play Terraform, which is one of the brand new missions. We'll talk about how that works as it comes up. Crucible of Battle, keeping it simple, old-fashioned stuff, and Stalwart, which isn't going to come up this game because we both forgot about it.
Classic.
So let's go ahead and break down this green tide list, Lucas. What do you got going on?
Yeah, so a lot of people have been starting to become familiar with Greentide as it's gained some popularity, just for the sheer amount of OC it can bring to bear. And so a couple things changed for us in the slate. The list archetype is still going to be the same, but we're going with some new stuff here. So the biggest thing is the biggest boss himself, Gaz. I wanted to give him a shot. A lot of stuff got changed for the worse in Orks, but he is still just as good as he was. So I want to give him a shot in Greentide and see if I can make those lethals work.
And he got better, right? Didn't he just get changed the way the transport capacity works? Isn't that a recent thing?
That's been since the Codex came out, basically.
Oh, okay.
Because he takes up 16 slots now.
Gotcha. 3
war bosses on foot. We've got 2 weird boys. We've got 5 squads of 20 boys, 2 squads of 5 storm people, 3 bikes, a wagon, and 11 Gretchen. My enhancements are, one of the war boss has always count his unit as having 10 or more models. Another one of them has real advance and charge, and then we got one of the weird boys with brutal but cutting for CP generation. So very straightforward list. I wanted to see if I could take specifically the characters that didn't go up in points. I mean, I still got the 2 weird boys because they're just very good, but specifically no pain boys here because they're just very expensive right now. So I wanted to see what I felt like not playing with them.
Makes sense to me. We got this beautiful squig hawk he got over here.
He's not on the list. He's on shelf duty for now.
He looks great though. Nice paint job.
Thanks.
And good photography too. I love the little bokeh as it gets kind of like, it seems like a weapon is so far away, but it's coming at you so fast. Anyway, that looks great. All right, here's what we got in terms of Vanguard Tyranids. This is my first time actually playing this detachment. Been waiting for it for a while. So I kind of just threw the kitchen sink in terms of this list. We'll see how well the pieces fit together, but we got a bunch of nonsense. First off, the changes that we got in the slate for Nids, ton of them. The biggest ones being Synapse gives +1 strength and melee now, which is huge. The Vanguard organism, what's the
Vanguard Invader?
Vanguard Invader keyword, yeah, got handed out like candy. It went to all the snakes. So in particular from this list, the Molochs and the Trigon are suddenly Vanguard Invaders when they weren't previously. And then in addition, the other thing I'll be taking advantage of is that the Neuro Tyrant can now join Zonethropes, which means that unit can shoot pretty hard, giving them +1 to hit and +1 to wound if you're battle shocked, which is great for them. So the list itself, we got a Broodlord, we got Deathy, pictured here at the right. I actually have a photo of a model that is in my list. Neuro Tyrant, a Winged Hive Tyrant, a Flyrant, if you will. A Winge Tyranid Prime.
Fast typing.
we
got another one on the next line.
I didn't even write 10 Horny Rats correctly. Dang it. 10 Horny Rats, Hormagaunts, a Biovore, an Exocrine, 10 Steelers, a Lictor, 2 Molochs, 2 Neurolictors, a Trigon, love me a Trigon, 6 Melee Warriors, and 6 Zonethropes. You'll get to see a bunch of different things get used here that are a lot of fun. One thing that I don't think I actually end up using over the course of this game, but is something that we'll talk about as a constant threat, is that in Vanguard, we have that at uppy-downy stratagem, putting stuff into strat reserves, and you can use that on any infantry unit for 1 CP. So in particular here, you can use it on the Zonethropes, which makes that 5-inch move unit way more mobile to suddenly teleport them around the table. But I don't think that actually ends up happening in this game. But know it always lurking as a threat. Sweet. So here we've got the game board set up here, and everything is deployed. Lucas, what do you think about this deployment here? What's your thought process?
Yeah, I'm just trying to not get completely obliterated by the funny zone throw unit walking out 5 inches. So I'm just kind of staged up where I can be. I've got 20 guys in this wagon, and then just kind of like boys dotted across my deployment. And I'm trying something here that I really like, which is putting 1 unit of boys in strat reserve to just have them rapid ingress so they can kind of reinforce whatever flank I particularly need help with. And then just normal orc stuff with the Gretchen on the back objectives and Storm Boys ready to go out and do early tactical cards.
Makes sense to me. Yeah. Up in the top here, I've got my Gene Stealers and that Broodlord ready to pretty comfortably move it up. Oh, we are playing on GW Layout 6. That's another new thing. It's a new GW layout. These L's are interesting.
Yes.
Melee staging on this board is very difficult. You kind of want to stage from the objective, which is weird.
Yeah, you can also stage from this one pretty decently. Especially if you're fast. You can get onto your opponent's natural expansion there pretty easily. But if you only move 6, it can be a little bit more tricky.
Definitely. So, yeah, let's get right on into it. Secondaries. That's a big thing. I end up taking fixed secondaries in this game, which is partially a decision I'm making to simplify how much newness is getting thrown around at the moment, and also partially to punish Lucas for playing a list that gives up some crazy secondaries. In particular, Cull the Horde, which is
A secondary, for sure.
such a bummer. For those of y'all who know that I am a big fan of the Endless Swarm, it will not surprise you to know that I hate that the secondary exists, but it's out there. Every unit that had a starting strength of 20 or more, was 20 more models or 24 more wounds?
25 or more.
25 or more wounds? It was
Specifically
24.
Thunderwolves and
cuts it
Wraiths
off.
don't count.
Well, Thunderwolves aren't infantry anyway, but yeah. Yeah, so Lucas having these 5 squads of boys, I only have to kill 4 of them to get max points on that. And then also we have that pile of characters, so Assassinate's pretty much a given. Vanguard also have tons of precision. I've obviously got Deathy and Lictor and Neurolictor and... Where's my other Neurolictor? Maybe I have... Oh, he's right here. Who all have precision, and I have 1 CP precision for infantry. Like, I'm going to kill some characters here. And also just, like, you got to kill the boys. So that seemed pretty safe. You went tactical? Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, nothing to it but to do it then. Let's see who goes first.
I think we're out. Oh, are we at 100% speed?
There we are. Oh, yeah. Sorry, let's go ahead and speed this up.
Let's not be here for 3.5 hours.
And here we go.
Here we go. Yep, Orks are going first. Right? Yes, Orks are going first.
No. I went first.
You did?
Right, because you got bottom turn primary. Bottom 5.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
I know what's going on.
Nids are going first. One of the things that the Nids are threatening that Lucas has to both deploy accounting for and then also I have to make some decisions about is that one of the Vanguard strats is 1 CP up to 2 Vanguard units get to come in from reserves a turn early. So in particular with the 2 Molochs, I also have a Trigon off the table, but especially the 2 Molochs, coming in turn 1 can be pretty spicy. Unfortunately... they obviously have to get pretty darn close to do anything especially relevant, and Lucas is a melee army, so we're gonna not do that. But we're gonna be a little bit more conservative here. We're gonna run on up. I'm gonna make sure that these boys are not charging because I'm going first. Lucas doesn't call the wall turn 1, and I know that, so I know that he won't be advancing and charging this turn. Kind of one of the downsides of going second as Orks. Definitely a pretty big one. So we're gonna walk on up. With Broodlord and his friends and with Deathy. We'll start terraforming that objective because why not? We moved twice there because we scouted 8 to here and then moved 8 to here. These blindingly bright white primed models here are the Molochs. I wanted to... Yeah, did not occur to me how bad that would look on camera. Don't worry, it won't happen again, y'all. Fortunately, I think the one that is the most blindingly bright white is won't be on the table for long once it gets set down. I want to check a bunch of different places to consider where these guys could go, and I end up deciding to just not bother. It's just not necessary. So we're going to come on over here. We're going to check a couple things out, figure what we can do in terms of turn 1 shooting. The Exocrine can draw this wacky little bead, and the Zoanthropes can kind of try, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really accomplish much, so basically just decide against it. The Exocrine still moves up because as this way, if Lucas runs out, he's pretty safe right there. You're not doing much to him. If Lucas runs out, he'll be able to remain stationary to get +1 to hit for heavy next turn, which is nice. Meanwhile, over here, we've got some Tyranid fundamentals in play. This Neurolictor got pre-measured and then moved for some reason. We'll move him back in a minute to make sure that his 12-inch bubble of making people take a battle shock covers this objective entirely, which makes sure that if Lucas wants to come contest it, I definitely get a chance to shock somebody. The Lictor is going to go stand on the objective and start terraforming in order to force Lucas to come on out, because Lucas would love to sit back and not get involved as long as possible. And I want him in the fight right away because, frankly, I only have so many activations over 5 turns to kill this many orcs, so we got to do what we can. The warriors are going to stage up in this wall here. Something you'll notice you'll see a lot, you'll get in this habit if you play Vanguard, is the Prime, who is, again, the blindingly bright white one there because we just put him in the list, goes in the middle because he moves 6 inches faster than the warriors on the outside of him, but he needs to maintain coherency. So 2 inches of that 6 inches faster puts him on top of the warrior, 2 inches is further puts him in front of the warrior, and then 2 inches further gets him out of here because he's on a 50 millimeter base. So by being right behind, he goes to as far up front as he possibly can be. He doesn't actually lose any movement.
That's cool.
And the warriors get to move up as far as they can.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's a nice little thing. Unfortunately, because it's a 7-man unit, you do have to double coherency still. Yes. So you got to be a little bit careful with how that works out, but that's the theory on why you'll see them deployed like that a lot. Around the back here, I'm just going to screen out a little bit because Lucas does have Weird Boys. He could be jumping turn 1, and I really don't want him doing that into my backfield. That would be bad. Yep. So we'll zone that out a little bit. I'm going to slam a Spore Mine down right over here. I didn't draw original. I don't have cards. That's going to keep him from dropping a boy squad right here and charging into my zone thropes. That, I think, is the thing that I'm the most worried about because they're pretty defenseless and they put out insane volume when they're not in combat in this list. So basically telling him that's not an option will be nice. Biovores, still great. I don't know anyone who's cut them, but it turns out free units every turn are pretty good. Who would have guessed?
Also a backfield holder when your army doesn't have one.
I do not have one. That is correct. In theory, it could be the Exocrine, but not on this table. Sweet. Bottom 1. What's going on, Lucas?
Yeah, I mean, this is the power of going first, right? You get to kind of force your opponent to move out and come into your threat ranges. Unfortunately, I am just forced to do that here because especially going second, I need to try to keep the primary difference close so that maybe I can grab some points in the very end game. But I definitely can't just let you have a bunch of primary and terraforms immediately and fall way behind on tempo because then, I try to catch up with a Wog on turn 2 or 3, you just walk away from me, it fizzles, and then I'm stuck in just as bad of a spot, but I haven't actually contested any objectives. So we're going to have to try to get aggressive here, basically. We're going to more or less lurch all of the boys out onto the middle objectives. And we're going to try to teleport this squad that's coming out of the wagon with the attached War Boss and Weird Boy. We're going to attempt to go for a charge onto the top left objective to just flip it. Because Terraform is a cool mission. But you do... basically the way it works, for those who haven't played it, is every objective on the board is worth 4. And then midfield objectives can have actions performed on them by units in your army starting on turn 1. You basically have to survive the turn and your opponent's turn and control the objective at the end of your opponent's turn. So there's quite a few boxes to check. But if you do, that objective becomes terraformed, and then until the end of the game, you score 2 points. Every time you would score primary, you scored 2 extra points for that objective, regardless of whether or not you control it. So this is a really great tool to, especially if you get them off early, you're just racking up 2 to 4 points every single turn, no matter who controls that objective. So I need to stop these early terraforms because each one of them is going to cause 8 points for Tyler, and I really don't want that to happen. Luckily, on the lower right, Gazgul rolled well on his advance, so he runs up on the objective and the bikers make it. So there's no way that the Neurolictor is going to battle shock both of them because he just can't. So that one, luckily, is the terraform fails, and so does the primary hold. But this one in the upper left is going to be a little more sketchy because we're going to have to go for a somewhat unreliable charge onto it.
Yeah. Something that I wanted to comment on, that I noticed what you were doing there, that I don't think everyone would have might do for themselves. These boys got out of the wagon, stood over here, and they're going to jump over there. But before that happened, you took the time and you moved every single one of them their full 6 inches forward. Can you talk about why you do that?
Yeah, so there's obviously the failure point with the jump of you can roll a 1 and fail. So I always make my jump plan, but then I will have a backup for if I roll the 1, my squad can still do something useful, and that's not like, move blocking myself. Because if those guys just kind of like got out and then walked away or like out of the way of the wagon or whatever, and I'd failed the jump, then that squad would have been completely out of the game. So you always just kind of want to build in contingencies.
Yeah, absolutely. And you refilled the wagon, right? The 20 boys from wherever
one of my
they were?
favorite things to do is this transport cycling, where one squad gets out and basically gets +3 move from the wagon, and then the next squad gets in and is ready to do the same thing next turn. It's like tons of extra inches of movement for free, basically. I mean, the cost of the wagon, technically, but here we made a great use of one of the revised Green Tide stratagems. The bonus to battle round, bonus to your charge for the battle round strat got revised to +1 to charge and a native reroll. So this is like better in the early game, about the same on turns 2, maybe a little worse on turn 3, and then 4 and 5 it's obviously way worse. But it kind of helps you get more of those. Like if you're brawling with your opponent on turn 2 and 3, it can be really helpful because you can have like a Bloodthirsty Belligerence reroll, you can have the 1 CP +1 and native reroll, and then you can just use the normal CP reroll on the third one. So you can have 3 units of boys with a charge reroll, which is really nice. It's kind of emulating Here We Go, and those 3 rerolls only cost you two command points, so it's very nice. Yeah. I like the stratagem. It's very good. And here we're seeing some Vanguard shenanigans in action, right? We're seeing Fight First, Death Leaper, and some stacking debuffs.
There's a heroic in there as well.
Yeah, heroic as well.
So the boys showed up over here. You saw they made their charge urgent like that with the reroll. Nice strat, like you said. And then we're going to hit them with a number of debuffs here. First off, they didn't charge Death Leaper, and why would they? He's scary and fights first. But for being within 12 of the Hive Tyrant, he's going to heroic for free. Because it's a 1 CP strat. So he comes in. Lucas very intelligently set up his war boss over here and charged over there. Deathy is so damn tall. He's taller than this wall. He can see into here. But because the war boss is off the plate, I can't see him. If I could, I'd just munch him immediately. So nicely done avoiding that. But he comes in. And then we got a couple of debuffs. The Broodlord over here picks a unit at the start of the fight phase that he's in engagement range with, in this case the boys, gives him -1 to hit. The Hive Tyrant picks a unit that he can see, in this case again the boys, rolls a die on a 2-up, which he succeeds at, they're -1 attack. And then I spend a CP for one of my Vanguard units here, I think I do it for the Gene Stealers, and he takes a Battle Shock check at -1 because Deathy's in range, and if he fails, the Stealers will be +1 to wound into him. So much nonsense.
Yes.
This absolutely just completely blunts the Ork charge. Because you're usually, 4 attacks a guy? 3 attacks a guy?
3 with not the Wa.
Yeah.
And now I'm hypothetically -2 to hit, right? Because the Broodlord -1. If I failed the Battle Shock, -1 from the Neurolictor. So you counteract the War Boss +1 to hit. You give me -1 attack, so you cut out 1/3 of my attacks. And I can't use my reroll to wound strat. So, I don't get anything, basically.
Yeah. Fortunately, you did pass the Battle Shock.
Yes.
So you got to do the reroll to wound and did take a pound of flesh, but it was not a particularly terrifying pound.
It's a silly thing to have happened.
Yeah. I also went ahead and spent a CP here to give this unit precision. I think this was an absolute waste of time, but it was funny to get to knock down the boss. The sooner the boss goes down, the better, as the -1 to hit from the Broodlord suddenly means they're hitting on 4s instead of 2s now, whether they've passed Battle Shocks or not. Just feels nice. And also assassinate points, got to get them eventually. Also, he hits real hard, and you've got a walk coming up, so... Yeah, so that's real nice. And I also mentioned you started terraforming here, and y'all probably saw there the wagon charged into the Spore Mine to just get a little bit of free movement out of it. It is the downside of Spore Mines. They do provide slingshots, but it's a price worth paying to make sure this is happening up here and not over here.
Yeah, if I charge the Zoanthropes, admittedly, then you get the terraform and all that. But it's probably worth it in terms of resources.
I think
see how this game went.
Yeah, knowing how Zoanthropes work, they're spicy. Though I guess actually, now that I think about it some more, if you had done that charge, I heroic right here, I don't know. Not the point. I didn't want you in there. It's the moral of the story. Yes, we're going into top of 2 over here, and it's time to deal with some orcs. Now, this right here is the downside to taking the wagon, as much as there is an upside. While it does increase your mobility a lot, it also allows you to get trapped. And getting trapped in the wagon is... Trapping the wagon is a play to always be looking for when you're playing into orcs, especially tied, because what you cannot do is kill 100 orcs in a turn. Period. That is just not happening. So you need to figure out every way you can to meter the orcs so that you're only dealing with what you can and you're getting hit back as little as possible. So in this case, we've got squad here, squad here, squad here, squad here, and then another squad off the table. The squad off the table is going to ingress. That's going to happen. We'll talk about how to deal with that in a minute. But as far as these 5 are concerned, this objective is already not going so hot. I don't see a fantastic solution to this. I'm going to cede that to Lucas. And in doing so, I don't need to deal with this squad. They're whatever. This squad up here is about to get charged and shot and hopefully killed by the pile of nonsense over here. That won't be a problem. Which means that if I wrap up this squad up in the wagon with the Hormagaunts here and they have to stay still, then the only squad of orcs that I have to actively deal with is these guys up top here. Right? And we're going to try to do that with the zone thropes to the best of our ability because they can put out some pretty good firepower. And yeah. But in the process of doing that, we then need to make sure that we're mitigating how much damage they're putting out. As we saw, this will be fine. And we're going to run away from this squad as fast as we can. So this brick of warriors right here, who this squad of orcs would love to run over and charge, or Gaz would love to run over and charge, they're going to get the hell out of dodge immediately. And we can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone here by blitzing them up the table this way to go charge these orcs, ensuring that those orcs die and keeping these warriors out of harm's way. Over here we've got a laser level. Highly recommend this tool. It's fantastic. It is one of the best ways to figure out outlines of sight, particularly this style that sits on a table as opposed to the little dangly ones. Cannot recommend enough. Shout out to our boy Tanner Herbert for putting us onto those. They're great. The Molochs are doing something kind of interesting at the same time here because, funny enough, I am trying to threat saturate the Green Tide army, which I think it actually pretty much works. So the problem is, Gaz at this particular moment, before this Moloch shows up over here, if I run away, he's going to run right here and go stand in the center and T-pose, and there's going to be a Gaz and a battle wagon and 20 orcs all in the middle ready to explode in any direction, while if I don't kill all of these orcs, some of them are pressing, and I assume the ingressing squad is going to be over here also pressing. Like, that is too much for me to deal with at once next turn. So going a turn in advance, the other way that you can screen, that you can prevent people from getting involved, is to drag them over. In chess, we call it, gravity in chess? Magnetism? I don't know. Where you, like, pull a piece in a different direction, and that's what this Moloch is trying to do back here. In theory, he is threatening to immediately take Lucas's home field. He'll kill a couple grots here. If he hits the 9-inch charge, that's awesome. Don't get me wrong, that'd be incredible. But I don't see that as especially realistic. What he's really doing is trying to put some battle shocks and some mortal wounds around to these units, and then saying, hey, if you don't turn around right this second, I'm going to go eat your grots for breakfast. In the meantime, the Lictor is going to run on up here, and he's going to go after this weird boy. I don't know at this stage in the game how effectively I'm going to be able to kill everything, but every character that I kill is assassinate points, so we're going to go after him, and that also removes Lucas's jump, and it removes his brutal but cunning CP, so like that guy is high value. And Lictor's, especially with this Neuraloid that he got, because he's within 18 of this guy, hilarious, he definitely is going to be...
Strong.
Yeah. Well, it actually doesn't actually matter, actually, because I guess I'm strength 8 versus 7, you're T5. It's still cool to be strength 8. So he's going to go do his best over there. Yeah, we end up using the Neuro Lictor here and battle shocking these guys. Hilariously, battle shocking unit doesn't make it stop performing actions. So you're still going to be terraforming over here. But by battle shocking them, when I send the Lictor in over here, it means that if Gaz's unit wants to heroic me, they may be have a little bit of a tougher time getting back onto the objective in the process. In hindsight, that doesn't actually do what I want it to do, but I digress. I think it was still better than just randomly hoping to battle shock Gaz. Yeah. So here we go. You may have seen earlier I was considering the Hormagaunts trying to do something more complicated. Don't do something more complicated. Go do your job. Wrap up the wagon. And here you can... Oh, I haven't sent the warriors yet. But here you can see all the zone thropes lined up on that 24-inch line to blast these guys. And then this guy's actually on the top level to blast this guy. And then this guy can see through as well, blasting that way, so they'll all get to shoot. The Neuro Tyrant, unfortunately, cannot get line of sight and range here to that squad, which is unfortunate, but it's fine. And now here you can see all of the reconciliation over there. And then, there he is. Here he is on the board. You heard me say earlier that the Ingress is a very real threat and something that I am very concerned about. And there's really not a way for me to put units over there other than, like, taking a Desperate and falling back over a lot of Lucas's models, either with Deathy or with the Gene Stealers. I don't love that because it puts them very much in harm's way, whereas, especially with the Warriors hopping up here to do the damage, these units being back here is much safer. Whereas the Trigon can 3-inch... Oh, whoops. Whoopsies. There we go. Nailed it, yeah. The Trigon can 3-inch deep strike right up in here and zone that Ingress. You can see Lucas has set up the Ingress already. We've zipped into the future a little bit. And push them even further back, meaning they can only interact with the Trigon so that all of this nonsense can pounce toward them next turn. We'll see how much of this yellow rubber banded squad is left to deal with it. But here we go. We're shooting into the yellow squad. I think we low roll this a little bit. We only end up killing like 10 Orks. Yeah. Which sounds like a lot, but this squad is silly. We said it was averaging, 36 shots hitting on 2s? Mm-hmm. Very nonsense. I end up putting the Exocrine downrange into Gaz's squad instead of going here to hand out the real ones because the Exocrine's going to kill a couple boys and take away my line of sight. Can't afford that, so don't get to use that buff, unfortunately. Spore Mine setup over here. I end up holding back the second Moloch. Y'all saw it on the table for a little while there. Decided he's just providing more utility, scaring Lucas, forcing him to think about it, and potentially ingressing next turn. So that's how that's going to go. And then, the only last thing I checked was making sure that this Neurolictor is going to be able to be well out of harm's way. You called the wall this turn. I guess we didn't say that, but like naturally,
you got to make stuff happen.
You got to do it at some point. Yep. So, yeah, here we go. Taking a couple more shots somewhere or other. Trigon Prime has a gun. It's very funny. I feel like the little piddly shots of various kinds that I was able to put into that green squad did like almost as much damage as the actual zone thropes.
Yeah, Orks have this weird dynamic where sometimes you'll shoot them with real firepower and they'll kind of bounce and you'll be like, what the hell was that? And then you'll throw like your random garbage at them and kill 4 Orks. And you're like, oh, cool.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Sweet. So over here, we're starting the charge phase. Lictor went in. Here come the Hormagaunts, wrapping up the wagon. As you can see, it really only takes like 4 Hormagaunts at the end of the day to wrap this thing. Yeah. So I'm not too concerned about your, 7 attacks?
Yeah.
Yeah, 7 attacks don't kill 6 Hormagaunts, or don't kill 7 Hormagaunts, rather.
Yeah, 20-man squad is a big footprint.
Yeah, so we just got to wrap up a little bit there. Checking the 6s there with those blue 6-inch sticks to make sure that we don't... accidentally get heroic because that would be game ending. And then the Warriors, as you saw up there, coming into the squad, going to do some maximal damage. Death Leaper smashes back in, the Gene Star smash back in because Vanguard is everybody falls back in charge and advance in charge, baby. Vroom vroom. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the Yellow Bandit squad still pretty strong. I'm a little bit concerned about how hard they're going to be able to come in and smash into me, especially with how squishy those Warriors are, but I've still got the Hive Tyrant right behind them to hand out the -1 attack, even if he does have Wah energy attacks, and the Broodlord is vaguely in a relevant position. We'll see how this goes. A lot of things can go one way or the other. I think this is literally like just the Warriors, and it was... I don't even think it was the full squad.
You fought with 3 and killed like 19 guys or something stupid.
These guys are insane, man. Because I think it was 18 attacks killed 19 Orks. Makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because hitting on 2s, reroll 1s sustained, so you're getting like 20 something hits, and then I don't know if did you fail the shock at some point?
Yes, they failed it.
Yeah, fail the shock. So I'm winning on 2s, reroll 1s, and then he's taking invulns. And I do not think your invulns went especially well. So we end up getting the job done there. So that's one squad of Orks down for 5 on Cole, and the character in it down for two characters. Yeah, because that was the Weird Boy and Warboss squad. It's 2 on Assassinate. My damn Lictor, I don't know if I've rolled him yet over here or not, but he fails to kill the Weird Boy, who has 4 wounds.
Mm-hmm.
I need 2 to go through. Sag. Yeah, that's how it goes. Though I think we do also plank a good wound off the battle wagon with the Hormagaunts, which is the real victory here.
Yes.
Sweet. So that's about as successful of a turn as I could have asked for. Yellow Squad, like I said, I would have liked a couple more of those guys as dying, but not everything's going to go perfectly. Mm-hmm. So I'm very happy with how that shook out. What are you thinking going into bottom of 2 here?
Definitely not great, but I mean, I've always heard that Vanguard Nids are like a kind of a glass cannon, where like once you hit them back, they kind of melt. So I'm hoping to do some real damage here. If I can like neuter this warrior unit, and then maybe kill a big snake or 2, and give you another 60 guys to worry about, then I'll be in a good spot.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, I won't get to use the 20 guys in the middle on that inside the wagon because they're wrapped up, so they'll miss out on their wall turn, which is kind of unfortunate. But there'll be a nice like batch of OC to go use later on in the game for sure. So, I've got a kind of awkward decision point here of where to send Gaz. Because I would love to have him go toward all the rest of the stuff that's in the upper left. But he's not going to make it there with any haste. And, he can go clear out those Hormagaunts, but, like, that's kind of a low-value job for him. And then he'll just get kind of shot and charged and killed. I think I decided to go send him after that Malok that's on the right side of the table. Just because I don't want anything really messing with my backfield for the moment. Right? You're applying a lot of pressure on the upper left, so if I can keep you entirely over there by just going and cleaning up that guy in the backfield, maybe then Gaz can act as a sweeper and come in and reinforce my home objective in the late game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then obviously I have some strength in the lower right here because I brought in my Ingress squad already. They're along the top of the board, but having that much stuff in the lower right just means that I'll be able to lock down that corner of the board for a little while now. It was nice to get a pile in off that Lictor and hop on that objective to Sticky it. Sticky's really powerful for Orks. It's like one of the rule changes that makes Green Tide work is being able to sticky objectives and then leave them. Really, really powerful. Yeah, and then so we're going to just kind of push with this unit and hope to leave that objective behind us, and hopefully Sticky is enough of a defense for those Warbikers and whatever else remnant is back there to kind of hold that objective for a while. And we do have this awkward scenario of what the hell do we do about these Hormagaunts, right? Because the wagon isn't going to run them all over, and I really don't want Tyler getting primary off of just a couple rats that already did their job wrapping the wagon. I want them to just like go away now. So we'll be cleaning them up with the Warbikers, which will be nice.
Yeah, those guys are quick.
Yeah, quick.
I was impressed by the movement they were able to pull.
I learned their guns were twin linked today.
Oh,
yeah, they're 5. They're 3 shots, rapid fire 2. They rapid fire at 9 inches. At 5-0-1, if they're within 9 inches, they get an extra AP. So once you get within 9, it gets really scary. The weapons are assault, and they're twin linked.
Nice.
So like they go in and kill like 10 little shitters like 100% of the time.
Sick. Yellow Squad looking even bigger than before.
The regeneration, baby.
Yeah.
Yes. No Pain Boys means you can't like double up and get the extra D3 as well. That's where it gets really saucy. Especially when multiple squads have taken casualties in one turn. But the Pain Boy's expensive, and the strat is available to all boys. So I decided to just juice that squad up a little bit, and because the boys are strength 5, they're AP 1, and they'll reroll the wound with the strat, so they can definitely go in and like kill most of that warrior unit. Like even the strength 5 AP1 attacks will be really helpful because the wound on 4 is rerolling and you'll get a bad save. So hoping that the couple extra models can power me through there. And worst case scenario is just extra OC on that objective. I'm hoping to deny it at least once or twice more to just like kind of keep primary on parity here. Really what I should be looking to do is win on primary because the secondary game's certainly not going well. I don't have a lot of chaff in this list, and Tyler's going to get 40 points on Call and Assassinate. And here's a little fun Vanguard trick that I kind of forgot about on behalf of ingressing. It's Mr. Moloch with the Battle Shocks, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so one of the nice things about Vanguard is just how many battle shocks you're able to apply with the crazy stratagem that you can use every fight phase and your shooting phase, whether you're shooting or fighting or not, and the shadows and the neurolictors, but also the Molochs, when they roll that 5 up, do flat 3 mortals and a battle shock, and you can do that off the ingress as well as off the move. And the ingress here is especially saucy because it also sets up some really nice play, running in and going after those boys down in the bottom there, whereas Lucas pointed out, I have a weaker area, but he also just kind of abandoned ship there. With Gaz as and the Warbikers running to the corners, it's really just going to be that squad of boys, and that Moloch is hungry for some boys.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes in here. Does he roll like 3 5s here?
Who?
The Moloch?
No, yeah, dude. After the first one on my Gretchen, you rolled nothing but 5-ups.
So yeah, 3 orcs dead, take a battle shock. 3 wounds to the battle wagon, take a battle shock. 3 wounds to the boys in the bottom, take a battle shock. And I know for a fact you failed that one. So yeah, very saucy. Looks like you got a... There you go. In come those aforementioned...
Charging.
Yeah.
Gaskell's gonna punch a snake.
I think he's going to be just fine.
You're gonna die.
It's possible.
It is probable.
All right.
Alright, and then what is charging in here? Oh, this is the Storm Boys, because I wanted to get rid of Death Leaper. That prick.
Yeah, you...
I grenaded him.
Yeah.
And then I charged him with 5 guys, because I figured with the 5-up invuln, you're not going to kill all of them. And then all it takes is 1 knob wound to get through to just kill your ass.
Yeah. It's really important to charge Deathy here to prevent him from heroicing, because he will heroic, fight first, and kill the boss before the unit gets to fight. And they don't like that, as it turns out.
No.
Especially because one of the great tricks with Vanguard is that the fight phase, take a battle shock strat, is anytime in the fight phase. So I don't, like, Deathy doesn't need it to kill the boss that much better. So instead, oh, there he is, failing the battle shock. Thanks, boys. So instead, if you go in, kill the war boss, you then reduce their leadership to 7, and then you pop the strat for the warriors. Then they're taking on an 8. Oh, it's just very saucy, but didn't need it. Lucas just failed the lead 6 on the war boss. Lead 6, -1 from Deathy, so lead 7 check. Yeah, I like that a lot.
I don't.
Boo.
Boo indeed.
Looks like
I love no prompting, just take a battle shock test.
it's great. I love 1 CP, select an enemy unit, that enemy unit takes a battle shock test. No other conditions.
Just do whatever the hell you want,
It
dude.
does other
Spook them. Like, fuck it.
It does other cool stuff as well, but like literally that entire stratagem were just called Boo. Pick an enemy unit, that the unit takes a battle shock check. It would be a great stratagem, but it does more than that. It's also flat +1 to hit for some reason. I don't understand. This detachment is cracked. It's so much fun. Deathy goes down. So sad.
These boys with their 2-inch charge.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Is I was very excited once Lucas blocks off the heroic here at the prospect of these boys making a bigger charge here, and then the Steelers heroicing this way and getting that Broodlord into engagement range to hand out the -1 to hit, which would really mitigate these boys' ability to deal with the Trigon. But they roll Snake Eyes on their charge, so they just barely get in. They lose out on maybe 2 or 3 boys fighting as a result.
Yeah, probably more than that.
Like 3 or 4 boys fighting as a result.
I mean, considering you lived on 1 wound.
But, yeah, that's how it goes. Skill issue.
Yeah, truly. I can't kill a literal 3-up armor mound of meat. I guess it's toughness 10. That's a big break point for my army. Yeah, so he's unfortunately going down to 1. The Warbikers do clean up these horror Magants. Which is just great for the primary. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, brother. You're going to score so much primary with those bikers.
Fuck you. Fuck you and everything you hold dear. I hope Tyranids get legended.
As y'all might anticipate, this next turn is going to be a little funny.
I hope you get legended. I hope Tyler Bortel gets legended.
You can update my status to legend any day of the week. Sure enough, Gaz did snap that Moloch in half.
That was funny.
So, yeah, I'm glad that worked out for you. If that somehow didn't work, this would be...
I would have committed Mitsubishi, dude.
Don't say that.
Why not?
Anyway, Yeah, so we're wrapping
We're
up
doing
here.
some damage here.
Things are getting killed. You killed most of the warriors. I think I ended up with one warrior and the
5
prime left
warriors.
off. Yeah, 5 is not bad, especially through all the defense, through the you being -1 to hit because of the neurolictor, because you're battle shocked, not getting to use your strats, and being -1 attack.
Yeah.
Not
This
bad.
is the damage turn, right? Like, if I had passed that check, it would have been nasty. Because then reroll the wound. Actually, I needed another Trigon, but, like, I'm not -1 to hit, basically. Which probably kills that last guy.
Totally. If memory serves, you rolled like a pile of 2s in your power claw. Because that
rolled-
unit's made of paper.
Rolled 4 2s.
Yeah, seems bad. But yes, they end up shirking it off, shrugging it off, and get away free. Now, interestingly, I do get to fall back in charge, but I don't get to fall back and shoot. So the Zone Thropes need to sit in combat if they want to shoot, because they do have the monster keyword, because they have a Neuro Tyrant in the squads. They have Big Guns Never Tire. Fun fact, they don't take the -1 to hit, though, because that's monster models, not units. Unfortunately, though, as Lucas pointed out, which I appreciated because I hadn't thought about this, they can't fire their blast guns in combat, obviously. So we don't get to just evaporate that squad the way that I thought I was about to. We have to actually evaporate them other ways.
You'll be able to make it happen. I believe in you.
I got faith in my boys. Sweet. So we haven't talked about your secondaries like at all, Lucas.
Well, probably because they've been, like, terrible.
Yeah, turn 1 you drew Marked for Death and Bring It Down, and both
Nice.
of those were not helpful.
And then I drew Extend Defend. Nice, I got those. And we're going into round 3.
Nice. Yeah, so going to round 3, I draw Cull the Horde and Assassinate, as I do every turn.
Nice.
And we actually end up battle shocking our own Trigon here, which is kind of a bummer. He got a neuro node and everything. He just like rolled a 7 on 3 dice. So he's a little bit shooketh, which makes it very scary that he's about to fall back and take a breakout check, because, man, an alive Trigon does a lot of damage. But we risk it for the biscuit, because Mama didn't raise no coward. And he's fine. Love that. We also think for a while about how to fall back here, and it doesn't work the way I want it to. Got a couple small problems to solve here, but we'll make it work. The big picture plan for this turn is, like last turn we said abandon this objective. This turn the plan is abandon the middle. I'm going to send into my Moloch all the way down over here, Sneaky Snake style, and the Neurolictor all the way up here, because these units advance and charge. They're so damn fast. We're going to deal with as much of this boy squad as possible to clear out this section over here. We're going to deal with all of these boys. This is our primary target, because they got characters. Remember, the squad inside the wagon doesn't have characters, and without the war boss, especially with the defensive buffs I can put out, they are pretty limp by comparison. We'll take some shots at these guys, see what we can do about them, and then obviously we're going to leave Gaz the hell alone, because he is entirely out of the game right now, so we'd like to keep him that way. Yeah, nothing crazy exciting happening this turn and how to do that. Oh, obviously we also have to kill these boys. We basically just like fall back a little bit to right here. The Trigon falls back to there, and then we charge in, kill. I think for a minute here about going into the middle with the Hive Tyrant here. And this is one of those situations where, as much as it's easy for me to say in retrospect, oh yeah, obviously the play here is abandon the middle, focus on the that far objective, because as the output of the boy squad isn't super impressive. That was not a decision that was easy to make in the moment. And I thought for a really long time about different ways to try to take this objective back in the center. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If Lucas scores 4 points for it, that's fine. He's not terraforming it. Though I guess he could... no, you can't start actions in combat with vehicles anymore. So he's not terraforming it. It's 4 points of primary at worst. Spoiler alert, I'm about to pop shadows, so there's a chance that that helps out, especially if I'm able to kill the bikers and it's just a wagon. So the right call here is to, again, continue playing the material game instead of focusing too much on the nitty-gritty points. Lucas has been scoring 2 points every turn for this terraform over here, because those bikes just terraform the objective turn 1, and that's a bummer, but at the end of the day, it's so much more important to me that I didn't lose my warriors, right? They're just so much more valuable than stopping those points. So
Yeah, if you can kill my stuff, I'll run out of ways to score points on turn 4 or 5.
yeah, dead models don't score. And Terraform, in addition to being a mission that it rewards early play, because the sooner you terraform, the better, but it also rewards later gameplay because you can terraform as many objectives as you want at a time, and they always complete at the end of the game at the very latest. So you can always be out here terraforming a bunch of stuff late game to try to score some points.
Yep.
And there's also just a lot of objectives to hold. So we'll play the long game, and we'll focus on material, and we'll bleed Lucas dry without too much concern about the points he's scoring. The points will figure themselves out eventually.
Yep.
Yes, as you can see, the Neurotyrant Flamer does a ton of damage, and then the Zone Throw shooting is a little bit more. And then I think you end up with like 1 or 2 boys and the boss left, who will get cleaned up by the Prime and the Warrior. The Stealers, the Tyrant, and the Trigon all charge in up top. Man, we gotta stop doing this so late at night. And the the Moloch and the Neurolictor coming on the bottom. I don't even know if I spawn a Spore Mine this turn. Oh no, that's what I'm doing right now. I do to make sure that we're not deep striking with Storm Boys into my backfield, because that's a scary thought. The Neuro Tyrant standing right here, or also just all of these Zone Thropes that can shoot out of combat, mean that Lucas can't ingress there, but he could have deep struck there, so we'll take that away. And we'll go to town. In come the various boys. Moloch's being OC4 is super sexy. Makes holding down that objective a lot easier once we start working through these boys. They're already battle shocked because, the timing is so important on battle shocks. Anytime you can battle shock a unit in your opponent's turn, it's going to be battle shock for their whole turn and your whole next turn. So I didn't even have to think or worry about how to deal with this unit. It's been shocked since Lucas's movement phase. And I've just known that I get to get in there and do massive damage and basically take no damage back without reroll wounds. Sad orc noises. So yeah, in come the Stealers up top, making sure that unit can't hurt me that bad. Lucas is at 1 CP anyway, so there's not an interrupt that I got to worry about. And pretty much just taking care of business, as you might expect from here. Yeah, so now you're definitely gonna end up being on the back foot here. What are you thinking about in terms of mentality? What are your goals moving out of this situation? Because it's definitely not ideal.
I won't lie to you, it's pretty cursed. I've got Gaskell in the middle of nowhere, and I've got 20 naked orcs in a half-health battle wagon. So, the squad... I got the squad in the lower right? No, they're about to get killed by 2 models. And then... I don't really know what else I can do at this point. I guess I can continue to try to deny primary, but this is, the fundamental issue with a matchup like this, like any battle shock matchup really, which is also why I'm interested in the CK game for Greenside, is every single time you take a shock test, it's a huge point swing, right? Because you can go in, and especially the number of times Vanguard can battle shock you. They can battle shock you 3 or 4 times before you try to contest their objective, and 1 or 2 of those at least are before you use any of your offensive strats, which is just insane. Mm-hmm. Because every play you try to make has an 80% chance of just completely flopping. Not to mention the defensive stuff they can layer on top of it with the Tyrant plus Blue Lord. Even just the Tyrant alone, -1 attack is so fucked.
Yeah. Especially now that the wall's over.
Yeah, my units aren't doing anything. Which, when their only goal is to charge in, do some damage, and flip an objective, that only working 30% of the time is kind of shit. I won't be on. I won't lie.
Tell me how you really feel.
Not being able to do anything is pretty bad. Another issue is the runaway strat, right? Mm-hmm. 1 CP runaway with 2 Vanguard units.
2 CP
is 1 CP. Let's be honest with each other, Mr. 25 command points. 20 in this list, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, just ugh. The fact that you can battle shock me before I even go to my shooting phase. So if you have a Moloch in reserves.
Yeah, exactly.
So Jesus Christ, man. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna throw these 20 guys at the upper left objective because I need to try to deny the terraform again. If I can get on that, you know, depending on the timing of when I can get on that, I could deny the terraform and or the primary. But the problem is, like, yeah, Death Leaper's dead, so I guess I'm testing on 7s. But it's going to be like 3 tests, 2 or 3 tests.
Yeah.
And I will fail it, actually, with the squad. So no primary denial for me, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we're hitting back a little bit. The squad of 20 that ingressed is still alive, so they're killing a couple of Gene Stealers to make sure they don't like take over as a late game piece, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're not hitting them as hard as they used to, because, you know, the WA is over.
Yeah.
The WA is over. -1 attack, -1 to hit. Just rough.
Yeah. And as y'all can see, that lower right squad is just absolutely decimated. 16 attack Moloch is just a silly number. Hitting on... I don't think I even used the stratagem for +1 to hit here, but I definitely could have. And then wounding on 2s. Just beautiful. And we unsticky that objective with the Moloch at the end of the turn there because you're shocked. And I'm OC4. And yeah, now it's whenever as a Tyranid player you see that your opponent is like really on the back foot, like gonna really take something to claw it back, that's when you windmill slam that Shadows in the Warp button, and just make their life significantly more complicated. How many Shadows checks did you pass, Lucas?
1 on my Gretchen, the one unit that didn't need to pass.
Nice job, Gratz. So yeah, Gaz is shocked, all the boys are shocked, the wagon is shocked, the biker is shocked.
I mean, I'd be shocked if this was happening to me, dude. I'd be shitting my fucking pants. You may not charge me, you may not have attacks, you may not hit well, and you may not have OC. Like, you don't get it. Also, you don't get to charge me in the first place.
You did mention that one already.
I did?
Yeah, it was like the first thing you said.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, fortunately for Lucas, the boys inside the wagon don't have to take a Shadows check for the time being.
Oh, goody gumdrops, dude.
Goody gumdrops.
I'll get to grenade that stupid snake. You guys can't tell. I'm kind of I'm already salt trucked about this matchup.
We played it once.
Well, the problem is I'm gonna have to play it 20 more times in the next 6 months before we get another balance patch. Actually, this shit is not broken, but it's just annoying for my army to deal with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know I'm gonna have to listen to every fucking Tyranid player tell me how much they suffered with their 0 damage and how cool this is as they fucking move 15 times in my turn and battle shock me 4 times and then tell me it's a skill issue.
Sorry I can't get a squad into a wagon while another one gets out of a wagon and teleports across the table.
I mean, yeah,
and you shunt them 3 plus 6 plus d6.
I mean,
plus 7
I
from
did.
the revive,
I did shunt my guys into your
11
deployment
on the
zone and get
charge.
them all killed on turn 1 for the exchange for 4 Gene Stealers.
Exactly, it was a fantastic
my armor
trade.
just so busted. How good Orks are, dude.
They
honestly,
really are, man.
Just fucking nerf the points again, dude. Why don't you?
Agreed.
Just put us in the fucking shit can garbage.
I think that Cole should count. You should be able to do Cole for both of your secondaries.
I should get to. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that.
All right. So the boys
we do get to pick up Gaskell. Big thickness getting in the wagon, dude.
Yes, indeed.
He's ready.
It's also worth mentioning your secondaries this turn are going to be cleanse and engage on all fronts.
That's not true.
Isn't it turn 4?
I got
assassinate, establish locus.
Yeah.
Spoilers for
I got
turn
the
4.
5 storm people in Deep Strike, baby. They're coming in. They're coming in to get 4 points, as was foretold by Boss Agstruck,
They're
the
showing
head
up
storm
up
boy.
here. I think we got a little bit of table crop going on here, but they're up in the corner, just towed into the deployment zone to do bad homers. Oh, look, table crop just got worse. Nice job, whichever.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is getting bad.
There we go. Hey, right on cue. That's where we left it. Oh God, I'm sorry,
Bruh.
We're working on this, boys.
Yeah, no.
You're here for the tactical commentary.
This one was
not for
haggard. Oh my god.
wow.
Interesting. This is definitely what you call interesting. For sure.
Is so high quality content. Shout out to Aegis Games for providing these awesome measuring sticks that we seem to just leave all over the table. They're certainly a lot nicer than if they were like those mega fat ones.
Thank you, Aegis Games, for my 6-inch stick.
Anyway,
Thoughts?
talk to me about why you fell back over here. You're Orks. Don't you want to get stuck in?
I mean, just move block, honestly. I don't want those guys blitzing over to the middle and I mean, did it do anything? Didn't really do anything. But like,
yeah.
What does staying in combat accomplish for me? Like getting killed in my turn?
Yeah, and even if you don't get killed, it's an important thing to remember that, like, as combat players, it can be very easy to think, oh, I should always be in combat all the time. But that's not necessarily the case, both in terms of death, but also my army falls back in charges. Mm-hmm. So really all you're preventing is an advance by being in combat, which you can prevent way better by sitting in front of me.
Also, like, the off chance that you don't kill me and then you don't... I don't exactly know what my plan was.
I guess, actually, the other consideration is that if you sit in combat, I can fall back over you and charge, whereas as long as you fall back, I am physically stuck.
Yeah, you are stuck there. No. So it's not nothing, I guess.
Holy smokes. We've drained 80% of my computer battery for recording this. That's wild.
Gaming. Yeah. I mean, we are getting the end of the... We're running out of gas here for sure. I mean, we've got to load up the gassy wagon again. And consider we're going into turn 4 here. You know, that'll probably be a piece that can survive into the late game, which will be nice. Can try to score some points later on, but yeah, I mean, like...
Your boys do slam in and hit the 8-inch charge, which is real nice.
It is cool.
They had to take an 8-inch charge because if they get any closer than 9, the warriors just run away, and he's trying to get to the warriors to get to the prime for the assassinate points.
Yes.
I do a cute little move here. Lucas charges just the zone throps because they're closer, and because of that, I'm able to then heroic with the warriors that he's trying to fight, which lets them get into base way further over here, keeping them away from that nasty knob and there's no war boss. That nasty knob who would have made mincemeat out of him.
Maybe I should have just gone for the 8 rerolling, dude.
I think so.
Especially because, like, I kind of need the whole squad to have a hope of killing you.
Yeah, and, like, what exactly does tagging the zone throps accomplish?
You can't shoot me.
Sure.
I'll die to the Broodlord and 2 Steelers somehow, don't worry.
I have full faith in you. All right, well, somehow the camera can see the top of the board now, so that's cool.
That is cool. Look at my storm boys appearing, dude.
Yeah.
But the camera got dragged toward the locus, which I established.
Dang, you
That's
really
what locus means. It means central confluence of power. A terraform, if you will.
Right up until the last one there. That was actually pretty good
Thanks,
words
dude.
there.
I am the Warhammer 40,000.
You are the Warhammer 40,000. Confluence. That's not a word.
That's a big word, which means firing deck 22. I'm completely losing it, guys. I'm delusional.
You should go to bed.
I really should.
This is what happens. We're in the middle of a WTC practice weekend right now. And
yes.
We've been, because it's virtual and we play with East Coasters, we had to start at 6 a.m.
Yes.
And it is now 10 p.m. We're several hours deep.
I'm going a lunatic mode, dude.
Anyway, so...
we do get to watch as your Hive Tyrant fails to kill my Giga Chad Gretchen this next turn. Are you ready for that?
I did forget to fire my Biovore when my Hive Tyrant killed the maximum number that it could, because I thought Grots were OC1.
Skill issue.
Yeah, skill issue for not reading the Grot data sheet more often, I guess.
I legitimately forgot the guy behind the wall.
Hilarious.
Gotcha, dude.
Yep, that's fine. So, Hive Tyrant's going to come in over there, start working his way against them. Definitely wish I had set up for a little bit more than that. There's an argument that I should have, picked up a Moloch to throw him over there or something. I don't know. It's whatever. That's going to be fine. The Zone Thropes are going to line up. They're going to shoot the wagon, as will the Exocrine. My Neurolictor friend over here is going to go deal with those Storm Boys, while the Broodlord and co. deal with the remnants of whatever's left of this boy squad after they get shot at a bunch.
You shoot in combat without the penalty.
Yeah, it's very funny, isn't it? Yeah. I love it. And then, of course, the Moloch and the Neurolictor will do Moloch and Neurolictor related activities.
AKA kill me.
Yes. They do love slaughter.
Slaughter.
Something like that.
But even though Tyler controls that lower right objective, it's still terraformed.
It is. That is still 2 points.
I'm getting 2 points, baby.
I'm getting 12 points.
You're getting a lot of points.
Yeah. So even though the points are looking pretty similar early on, hopefully by now we have the scoreboard on screen. Lucas is ahead by 6 on primary on turn 2. He's still net ahead by 4 on primary on turn 3. Turn 4, 12. Into what will be his 6 because I'm an idiot. Should have been a 2. Which will work out just fine for him. At this point, my secondaries are also fantastic. I have... What turn is this? Is turn 4?
Mm-hmm.
I have already finished Assassinate, and I've got 15 on Cole. We're going to finish off a squad. That'll finish off Cole. So at this point, it's really just about denying Lucas, which is to say just continue to table him. Lucas, would you like to walk us through your thought process here in selecting a secret mission?
Oh, was I losing on primary at this point?
At the end of battle round 3, you are... Oh, no, you're right. At the end of battle round 3, you are up for primary.
Damn, dude, shouldn't have played a pressure army, I guess.
Hilarious, yeah.
Well, I didn't really pressure your objectives because I was OC 0 while on them. You were chilling, dude. You were being chilling.
Yeah, this is actually like some actual useful conversation here. Something to be really watching out for that I don't think people are talking about enough is the primary mini game around secret missions. Right? They are an incredibly powerful asset. And if you know that your opponent is liable to be getting involved in them, trying to either you can minimize your primary by walking off objectives. That seems kind of silly to me. I would just say prioritizing damage over points early on can prevent them from being in a position to use those secret missions. And suddenly, if you have really high scoring turn 4, for example, you can still break away from the game while they have a comeback without giving them access to that massive pot of points, which I know you think is a fair and balanced part of the game that you really enjoy watching people engage with. So, yeah. The Zone Throps after the Exocrine do manage to crack the wagon. Gaz and his boys get out. They're chilling. We're on to a very exciting bottom 4. What's the thought process here, Lucas?
Draw card, score card, pass turn.
Sounds like a great plan.
I do have like the decision with Gazkul of to cleanse the middle objective or to try to slam a charge on that Moloch and get 2 on engage. So my rationale of going for the charge was I'm like already losing this pretty hard. I could get the guaranteed 2 points on cleanse, or I could slam the charge, which would be a 4-point primary swing, and it would get me 2 points in engage, and it would like me kill a stupid snake, and that would make me feel happy.
Yeah. In a team's environment, this is definitely where we're checking in with our captain. We're figuring out the greater iter scheme and deciding whether to push here. Mm-hmm. And Lucas has been instructed to push. We need every point we can.
I just think it's the right call anyway, right?
Just on
there's like 50% chance to get 6 points as opposed to 100% chance to get 2 points.
That is an increase of 50% in expected value.
Yeah. It's probably worth it.
Yeah, I think so.
Plus, I got to kill your snake.
Well, if you hit the charge, you do.
Mm-hmm. 6 attacks, strength 14, plus 1 to wound, AP 3, 4 damage. Bonk.
Bonk indeed. I mean, we saw what he did to the first Moloch. Surely he can do the same thing.
He did not kill the first guy. He had to have his homie come help.
He did. He didn't kill.
I just didn't want to go anywhere with that tyrant, dude. I did not want you to make my Mega Knobs 1 attack. That would have made me upset. Deeply upset.
Oh, I never got to do it. Shout out Sam Pope, who famously did that on stream at, what was it, Dallas, I think?
2 attacks is too many, dude.
You're right. You don't need that many.
Half the attacks, double the points. 80-point Mega Knobs. Thoughts?
I think it's a great idea. I think that Mega Knobs... how many points are they now?
25.
What? You're lying to your teeth. Are they 35 now?
They are 40 points a model.
They went from 30 to 40 and the feeling pain went down?
30 to 40 and their feeling the pain got worse.
Whew. Well, I don't think it's enough. They should probably be 50. And the feeling the pain should probably be a 6-up.
Fuck you, John Lennon.
Yeah, so we're finishing this up here. I'm going to pick up my Moloch, and I'm also going to pick up that Winged Prime there, because I can grab 2 Vanguard units.
Earthquake! All the Molochs going back!
Underground! Woo! Sweet. I obviously need to kill off these 2 Grots, because Lucas is not allowed to continue scoring primary off of them. and then also do a little bit of other nonsense. Finish off the last of those Storm Boys. The Neurolictor will do just fine at that on his own. Yeah, nothing super exciting here. I could really try to dogpile the middle and prevent Gaz from getting to hold the objective, but quite frankly, it seems challenging. So I'm not gonna. I will line up to charge Gaz, which is pretty great. One of the problems, though, is that I've got to deal with these 2 Grots on my backfield, which is not entirely trivial. And if the Hive Tyrant wants to charge off of the objective, I need those Grots to be dead, because otherwise the objective will be his. Crazy. So we're going to bring the Moloch over here and hit both of these units, and this is a beautiful thing, beautiful trick to watch out for with Vanguard. If you're still watching at this point, you're a dedicated fan, you deserve to learn the cool tricks.
Hondo P.
And the cool trick here, after the Tyrant moves up, so that he can still probably charge the Grots if he needs to, is that the Moloch drops in and rolls, I don't know, I'm sure it was another flat 3 mortals, and kills both Grots, which is awesome because, they're dead. And, so the Flyrant can leave to charge Gaz's squad, but also, now they're no longer blocking Deep Strike, so the Winged Prime drops in on Lucas's home field and terraforms it.
Chad shit.
Got him. So that's a big thing to watch out for. It's very common in games, especially in later game situations, to be screening with just absolute bits and bobs and whatever you got in your pocket coming out of the laundry, And a Moloch can quite often tear through even 2 or 3 of those units in the movement phase before you bring in some of your harder hitting pieces.
Yeah.
And it can really get you in places. If you're a Tyranid player, you're already used to this idea with the way that Spore Mines spawn in the shooting phase via Biovore, that you can, shoot a hole in a screen and then show up a Spore Mine. This just further intensifies that same idea. And it's beautiful.
It's definitely something.
All right, in comes the Tyrant. Megadop
Kills my
dies,
little
Makari
buddy.
dies, and because we go into Makari while staying outside of an inch of Gaz doesn't get to fight back, so he's just going to chill there, which means that he will have to make a decision between either trying to fight me or holding the objective. He decides to hold the objective, and you draw was that sabotage. So that's the last thing you're going to do there. You score 2 more points for Terraform and 4 more points for
Primary.
Very nice. That brings our final score there. Is our epic handshake to 88 to 53. That's a 16-4. Good game, my friend.
GG.
Sweet. Thoughts?
Green Tide's still feeling good. And boys are still tanky. The War Boss squads still do the thing. I think 2 weird boys is probably too many. They were kind of nice to have for late game takeovers with lots of OC and reliable charges, but it's just less good now. So you could probably cut down to 1. But I still like him in a big squad to go and just go for an 8 rolling is pretty nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, still liking the wagons. Gaz was pretty cool. I don't know if he's worth his points in this list. The Meganobs, you kind of need a bodyguard with him. He's already expensive, and you need a bodyguard with him, so he's even more expensive. And he's slow as hell. So I don't know if he's really worth it in this kind of list, but definitely worth another game or 2 of exploration.
Yeah, definitely worth a try. We never really got to see him with using the lethal auras that much in this game.
He had to go the other direction.
Exactly. And I feel like that's really where he can shine in this kind of a matchup. So we'll have to try it out some more.
What about you for the sneaky snacks?
Bro, Vanguards are so much fun, man.
They are funny.
They are so fast. They are so tricksy. They do almost one of my favorite things. They do so much damage in combat, which is sick. Everyone loves combat, and they still have really respectable shooting in that zone thrope unit. I think a lot of people look at the zone thrope unit, especially on WTC tables, and they're like, "Damn, this thing sucks," because strat reserve shooting is bad. They are not a strat reserve shooting unit. They are a center of the table shooting unit that happens to also be on both sides of the table from strat reserves at any given moment if your opponent decides it's to put them in that position.
Yeah.
If you forget that they even have that ability, they're a unit worth taking, and then you throw it on and it's just gravy. So love them, love of the army. As much as like I said to you earlier, this was meant to be just like a let's throw all the things that I'm excited about playing with in a list, and I liked all of them in this proportion, quite frankly. So I don't see this list getting any exceptionally radical changes. anytime soon, but we're going to try it out a bunch more and see what else we can come up with. So
100%.
great game, man. This was a ton of fun. If you want to try out Vanguard Nids, I think this is a great place to start, frankly. It's got a lot of totally ordinary tools, but also the army is super flexible, so if you're interested in any of the other pieces that make sense for it, you want to try out Raveners, you want to play more of anything in particular, that's always going to be good. You could also play some more traditional shooting stuff. I know Innis took a Vanguard list to some kind of tournament this weekend that involved a Malice Scepter and more Exocrines. Totally valid. Nids are in a really good spot right now, so I would highly recommend getting them off the shelf, especially if you're a disgruntled Genestealer cult player who needs something to make him happy. Yeah, sweet. So, hope you enjoyed the stat rep here. Make sure to check out our regular show on this very YouTube channel, as well as wherever you get your podcasts. We're from Take All Comers. We do also offer coaching. If you head over to statcheck.com/coaching, we'll be linked in the description. If you're interested in that, check out our sponsors, also listed below. We're about to run out of batteries, so I can't say the rest of the plugs. But thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, I've been Tyler.
T-Boy Lucas.
And we'll catch you next time. Take care, everyone.
Peace.